Flosstube, it's Stephanie, aka Ms. Oh So Crafty. Welcome to my Flosstube video number 60 maybe? I'm not sure. It's been a while since I filmed. Today is Wednesday, January 2nd, 2019. Happy New Year, everyone. It's been about 2 months since I filmed. I'm sorry. Hope you didn't forget me. But those 2 months between now and then were quite busy, and there was a lot going on. I didn't really stitch very much. I probably only stitched about half as much as I usually do, so yeah. I didn't really have a lot to show until recently, like after Christmas. So anyway, I've got some finishes and some whips, and then either later today, tonight, or maybe tomorrow, I'm going to try to film a 2018 wrap-up 2018 preview. All right, let's get started. So I guess I'll start with whips, of which I have two that I worked on since November. Here is Charm Santa. I worked on him a lot in December, basically on the top half of the piece. I stitched it mostly, except for there is some filling that needs to be done still. This is the Father Christmas from the Charms of Christmas book. The pattern is by Sandy Orton. The book is by Leisure Arts, old vintage book from the Christmas Remembered series, and I'm stitching it on 32 count raw gold Belfast. So I gave it like, I don't know how many days in December, but a lot. I wound up giving it more than the 25 days this year that I had sort of allotted for it. Around, I mean, not too much more, maybe like 26, 27 days. But as you can see, it's not entirely finished. So basically what I did is I stitched the last quadrant, the upper right, and I started backstitching a little bit with threads I had parked. So I did some more of this greenery here, and I did that little horse up there, and then the sleeve on that doll. I did, what else did I do? And I did these little bits of snow that are on his sleeve there. And I worked a little bit of the metallic border around with the threads I had parked. So basically what's left is just a little bit of fill-in and a lot of backstitch. There's backstitch in like 5 or 6 different colors. But this piece is not really that large. I mean, it's like 8 by 10 or whatever, so I'm hoping I can finish it this month in January. I'm probably going to give it like a 5-day rotation, and once I'm done with my new starts, and see how it goes. I think I should be able to finish it in 5 days. What do you think? Alright, so one more whip. This is something, it's actually kind of a new start slash whip, whatever. It's my Mill Hill Village, and I started another building. So this is the Mill Hill Christmas Village series, stitched on 28 count Stormy Gray Jobelin. And the one I started is this one down here. Let me see if I can kind of clean up the park threads. I am very much actively working on it, which is why there's thread everywhere. But there it is, in progress. So I started it on December 30th, and I've worked on it 3 days so far. Today would be day number 4. I haven't yet worked on it today. Hopefully I will have time later. So as you can see, it's mostly cross-stitched. I have to do, well, there's black to do in some of these windows, and then there's a little bit of, I think, light blue to go over here, and then there's a conical roof to stitch on this turret over here. And what else? I think there's some snow to go over here, and then there's another, the darker gray to go in the chimney as well. And there's another tree to put over here. This tree I think is pretty much done. And there's some greenery that needs to go in there as well. So really fun to stitch. This is pretty much my dream house, so I love it and I'm really happy to be working on it. I was just really feeling kind of a new start, and this was the only thing that I could start without technically adding to my whip count, because I just sort of consider this one big whip, even though each building is a separate kit and everything, and technically is a separate piece. So what I did is I gridded across the bottom, and I made tiny little starts for, this is going to be the Palace Theater, this is going to be the post office, and this one is going to be the firehouse. And that will be it from my village. Alright, and now I guess we'll get into finishes, because everything else I worked on I finished since then. The first thing I finished was We Do Disney by Stitch Line. This I finished in Disney World. We were there in the beginning of November. In this house, we let it go because Hakuna Matata and the bare necessities will always be our guide to infinity and beyond. All it takes is faith, trust, and a little pixie dust. While we just keep swimming, we whistle while we work. We believe in Mickey, once upon a time with a bibbidi bobbidi boo, and life is better under the sea because in this house we do Disney. Yeah, so this was stitched on 28 count black Jobelin, and I started too close to the top, yeah. I don't know why. I think this was a Mania start. I probably just wasn't really thinking as much about it as I should have when I started it, where to start. Anyway, but it's fine. So I have just enough, I think, to frame. I'm planning to mat this with a black glitter mat board, which is something I'm going to have to DIY because you can't really buy a glitter mat board, but I'm basically going to get cut a black mat and glitter it and then seal it. Yeah, that'll be fun. And then I'll mat it really close to the stitching and then put a white frame on it. That is the plan. So Disney was really fantastic. We had a fabulous time. My 4-year-old was just like over the moon, excited, and it was amazing. In fact, we're going to try to go back again this year. Even though Disney is like crazy expensive, and in the previous era, when it was just me and my husband, I would definitely prefer to spend my hard-earned dollars like flying across the pond or something. But now we have our son, and I'm sure anyone who has a child knows that everything changes after baby makes 3, right? So he's only little for a little while, so we will enjoy Disney at the maximum while we can. And I mean, this is technically finished, but I haven't signed it yet. I'm not sure how I was going to do it. I wanted to personalize it like our first family trip or something, or I don't know. I don't even know how to personalize it because, well, I didn't change my name after I got married, so my last name is different from my husband and son's last name. So I guess I could do both names. I don't know. Whatever. I'll figure it out someday before I frame it, I guess. Hopefully before we go back to Disney, which if we go, it'll be towards the end of next year. Okay, so that was my first finish, and then I guess my second finish was the Mini Mandala series by Brodeurs Bresson. Alright, here is my Mini Mandala Sal by Brodeurs Bresson, Esther Franken. She released the patterns monthly on her blog, Brodeurs Bresson. And they were free. I think the whole pattern is going to be available for sale in the new year here, 2019. So I stitched this on 22 count hardhanger fabric. I decided to add a border at the 11th hour, literally in November. I didn't really have enough extra fabric to do that, so I added some extra fabric to the top and bottom for basically purposes of mounting it on my frame. As for finishing this piece, I think what I want to do is stitch it So close to the stitching around the edges, and then fringe, and then mounted on mat board with some double-sided acid-free sticky tape probably, and then put like a black frame on it, probably a white mat. Yeah, so this was fun. The building, or not the building, but the mandala that I stitched in December, I think was this one here. That was the last one she released. But I kind of did them in my own order. Because she released all the image of all the patterns at the beginning of the sal, which is frankly the only way I'd ever do like a sal, because I don't do mystery sals as a rule. So I knew what it was going to look like even though we didn't have all the patterns, you know, back last January. Anyway, so I decided to kind of create my own order. I mapped each image with a month, and I guess I can tell you why for a few of them. Like for this one, for example, snowflake, February, right? This one, honeycomb, bees. The bees come out in March, right? This one, butterflies, April, right? May for flowers. June, something about that just seems like summery to me. July, this one reminds me of fireworks, the way it's all kind of like exploding out of the center. This one, October, definitely. These little triangular bits remind me of witch hats. And this business in the middle, a colt. This one for November, all the imagery around the center there reminds me of candles, and candlelight makes me think of November, Thanksgiving, all that stuff. And then this one just seemed Christmassy to me. I don't know why, just something about it just reminded me of Christmas. So that got the December slot. And the border is something that I got from, it's an old pattern by DHC. I don't think it's commercially available anymore. I did find a image of it though, like in an internet search. I got the idea from another Instagrammer, Main Ideas. She was putting this on her piece, and I decided to put it on mine. I actually tested a few other border patterns, like from Black Book Journey, but I didn't find any that I liked as much as this one. So yeah, I did it. So I did I don't know if you can tell, but there's a color gradient here. So the top is gray, the bottom is black, and the ones in between are gradients of that tone. And the border colors followed around. So this is the gray, and then the darker, the darker. I think this is $37.99, and this, of course, is $3.10 at the bottom. So that was fun. And I really enjoyed stitching this. I think it took like 16 days in all or something. About 1 day for each of the mandalas, and then like 4 days or so to do the border. The border thankfully went pretty quick because it's a very simple pattern. It's just nothing that you need to really look at the chart for except for the corners. So. All right, that was it for the mini mandala. And then my last finish that I want to show you is Fall Fairy by Dimensions Gold. I finished this on December 14th, I think, after a lot of backstitch. I think I spent like over a week just backstitching at the end, not all at one time, but here she is, Fall Fairy. She took a long time to stitch, like I think around 70 days or something altogether. I started her before I started tracking, so it's kind of a guess, somewhere between 65 and 70 days probably. And she has couching on her with gold metallic cord that I made, like her belt and her shawl and her crown. Her crown is actually done with the gold couching. It's a combination of backstitching couching, just because when I tried to all couching it, it looked like a muddy mess. So I really like how the couching turned out. I think it's beautiful and adds a lot to the piece. And there's gold beads all over her, so you can see them most easily on her dress. But there's some up here, and there's some over there. there's backstitching on this in like 5 or 6 colors. All the little leaves, the butterflies, the trees, the stumps, her cute little bare feet. The mushrooms, aren't they adorable? I love this page with the broken log and the flowers and the mushrooms. So cute. I love mushrooms, both in stitching and in on my plate, right? And then I guess the back stitching on the top half wasn't quite as bad. I mean, it wasn't really extensive, but there's this page with her face and her hand and her sleeve and her dress and all that stuff is backstitched. The backstitching in the hair was kind of tedious. The leaves over her head, over here, those are all backstitched. A lot of the leaves over here are backstitched. The leaves and the butterfly and all that and her little trail of autumn magic are all backstitched. And more tree over there, more sky. So the sky is all done in half cross. That was nice. Kind of sped things up a little bit. I'd say the project overall is probably like 40% half cross. And I couldn't be more pleased with how it turned out. I think she's just absolutely incredible, but this fabric was such a pain to stitch on. Next time I stitch one of these kits, I will be buying some new Aida for it. I mean, I have no beef with Aida. I think Aida is perfect for something like this, but the Aida that is included in these kits is just not very good. As you can see, there's not a whole lot of excess, although it's enough to work with. I mean, I can say that definitively since I do frame my own things and I frame stuff with less margin than this all the time, but it's just, it was a cheap Aida. It was splitty. Like when I was stitching and I stuck the needle through from the back, I would often come up adjacent to the hole instead of in the hole. That was annoying. And at the beginning, the fabric was so stiff, it actually hurt my wrist to stitch on it. Yeah. And I serged the edges and I washed it, and I didn't serge them, I overcast them. Sorry, I misspoke. I put it in the washing machine. I kept it rolled up in my cabinet for a long time. It did soften up eventually, but yeah, I mean, and it's galling to like spend, $35 on a kit or something and then not be able to use the fabric, but oh well, needs must, Next time I will be getting more fabric. Oh wait, I forgot to show you another finish. Silly me. Okay, so this was finished on December 24th, I think. This is my Lizzie Kate Boo Club. Spooky treats, black cat, spiders eat, creepy pumpkin fright, brew monster, ghost Halloween. And what I did to jazz it up was I added charm. So this is stitched on Dirty Belfast. So I got a graveyard charm, R.I.P. for spooky. I got a skull and crossbones for treat, which I thought was kind of cute and ironic. A cat charm for the black cat. I got a bat charm for the spiders. I got a little frog for the eek line, and an owl for the creepy line, and a jack-o'-lantern for pumpkin, a star for fright, a witch for brew, a scary skull type thing for the monster, a cute little ghost for ghost, and a moon and star for Halloween. And then the bottom border is that little candy border that's provided by Lizzie Kate on her website. This is a set of 6 patterns. The patterns come with buttons, and I did use some of the buttons. Like the black cat has the button eyes, and 2 of these spiders have buttons. Kind of hard to tell. Some of them are, three of them are stitched and 2 of them have buttons. And this owl has button eyes. The pumpkin has button eyes. Frankie has button eyes. But then there were more buttons that were charted, but they were just kind of placed in random spots, and I didn't really see the point of that. I like the charms, so I got the charms, and I sewed the charms on. The charms don't necessarily fit as well as I would prefer, but I think in the end it's fine. And yeah, I'm excited to frame this and hang it on the wall for Halloween or October or whatever. Okay, I'm back. It's a little bit later, but I guess I'm a hot mess because it's been so long since I filmed. I forgot to show you my frame finishes. Do you want to see those? All right, here we go. Now this one you may consider a rough draft because I'm not happy with the way that I matted it. Actually, the way that it's matted is fine, but the execution of the mats, not so great. There's a mistake over here on this side. And basically what's going on is that my board-mounted mat cutter has seen better days. I can't get the guide on. Yeah, I need a new mat cutter, so I'm planning to get a new one this year, and once I do, I will recut these mats, and then this guy will be completely done with glass and everything. But what I did, basically, the top mat is red suede, and the inner mat is gold metallic, and this frame is gold with like floral detail on it. Really pretty frame. To make the arch mat, what I did was I cut a circle and then added straight cuts to square off the bottom, and yeah, it's not squared off properly. That's the problem. And I recognize that this is a very small issue, but I like my mats to be perfect, so what can I say? Alright, so that's The Spirit of Christmas by Lavender and Lace. Alright, here we are with Titania by Mirabilia. So there's no glass on any of these yet. It's easier for me to show them and photograph them and everything before I put glass on, so I haven't done that part. But this is nice and shiny. It's like the frame has gold leaf on it. It's a very handsome frame. A lot of detail with like botanical detail around the outer edge. Pretty hefty profile. I wanted gold for her to pick up the gold in her wings, so no mat for her. I generally don't mat my mirrors just because they're so big, and as single figures I feel they don't really need mats. Mats are always nice, but not strictly necessary in all cases. Anyway, so yeah, this frame was from pictureframes.com. It was about $50, which isn't bad for a frame of this size and this size. By that I mean like the width of the molding and the detail in it and all that, so custom cut size. The size of it is, I mean, it's adequate for Titania. I might have gotten one a little bit bigger, but I wanted it to be the same size. I wanted Titania to be the same size as this one. This is Midsummer Night Fairy, and the frame on her is actually the same frame as I put on Titania, but a different finish. This one is made out of cherry wood with like a dark mahogany finish, and I feel like it's just better suited for the nighttime feeling of her. But they're going to be hanging side by side, and I did want them to be, have the same size frame, so yeah, that was that. So Midi is actually a bit smaller than Titania, so I went a little bit large for Midi and a little bit small for Titania. But yeah, maybe I can show them side by side. Midi and Titania. Very happy with them. The Night Fairy and the Day Fairy. So framing this year was pretty good. I mean, I did get most of the projects addressed that I wanted to. The thing with Charm Santa was a bit of a disappointment since the mat cutting didn't work out quite like I hoped, but I just need a new mat cutter and then everything will be copacetic. Alright, that's it for my stitching projects. Do you want to see my haul now? I kind of have a lot of haul because, well, it's been a while and there was Christmas in there. So first I'll show you something I got. So In November, after my Disney trip, like a week or so after that, I went to New Jersey to meet Ms. Joan Elliott at the Needleworkers Delight store in Metuchen, and it was really a fun day. I saw a bunch of New York, New Jersey area stitchers there. They were all doing their meetup or whatever because it was a Saturday, and I chatted with Arlene for a bit and Lori and some other people, and I decided I'm going to go back to Arlene's retreat. She's having one next August, so I signed up for that. At first, I was kind of on the fence about it, but then there was a fortuitous financial circumstance that happened, so yeah, I decided that I was going to sign up, and I did. So this is the Fairy Delights Biscornu by Joan Elliott, and you can see the finished model. She had the finished model there. It was like one of the most precious things I had ever seen. The edges were beaded. It was so cute. And I started working on it that day at the class. So this is Silk Weaver Lugana 28 count in spring color. It's like a really pretty light green, minty green. That's how far I got. And the floss that was included was Pressentia floss. I have no real intention of finishing this. I mean, first of all, I didn't love the floss. I'd rather work with DMC. This floss, it just seemed kind of like drier or something, or not as fluffy, or I don't know. I prefer DMC. And then the Biscornu is precious and as lovely as it is. It's just not really my thing. Like, I like to, well, I frame most of my things, right? Any sort of knickknack is going to collect dust, and I don't want to have to dust my stitching. All right, so let's see what else. So also at the shop, I got this one. This is the pattern by Cross Stitching Art. It's called Margot the Treasure Keeper. This is my first pattern by Cross Stitching Art. I think it's really cool. I like dragons. And I love her fishnet stockings and her high-heeled boots. She's got like a steampunk vibe kind of going on, and very cool. And the treasure chest. Now this pattern is like so much bling. It has beads, treasures. I want to say it has Kreinik. 4 different colors of beads, 3 different colors of treasures, and the treasure chest is like all beaded, I think, the contents of it. Yeah. So that will be fun to stitch, and it's not even all that big. It's like 8 by 10 or something. Design, well, 9 by 13. Yeah, 9 by 13 on 32 count. Or 10 by 14 on 28 count. Yeah, so it would fit on a fat 8th, I think. 12 by 18, 13 by 18. Yeah, it would definitely fit on a fat 8th of 32 count. Which is probably what I stitch it on, because that is my favorite count to work on, 32. Alright, so that was my visit to Needleworkers Delight. It was awesome, such a lovely day. So in addition to meeting Joan, Kevin and his staff, they provided like tons of delicious food all day long, and Joan is like the most lovely lady. It was wonderful to meet her and chat with her, and she's just so sweet and gracious, and it was fascinating to talk with her a little bit about the design business, and I loved meeting her. It was just such a fun day. And then the next day, my family actually came with me, and then the next day on the way home, we went to Diggerland in New Berlin, Pennsylvania, or New Jersey rather, which is kind of close to Philadelphia. And it was so fun. This was something I found like once we were a kid, and I was like, I thought my son would like it because, being 4 years old, I think he loves trucks and all that stuff. But I really had a lot of fun too. It was so fun. It was like an amusement park where they had like somehow turned all the construction vehicles and equipment into rides. So it was kind of wild, and we had a lot of fun, although it was very cold that day. All right, so that was Needleworker's Delight, and then there was Thanksgiving, and then my husband got sick, and then my son got sick, and then finally I got sick. That was in early December, and then I had a gift project to work on, a quilting project, which took a fair bit of time, and that took a few weeks, and then finally I got back to stitching. I did finish the fall fairy as I showed you, and then Christmas, right? So December was pretty busy. I mean, aside from the gift project, there was just a lot of like family fun type things going on, so yeah, it was really nice, but just not the best like stitchy time. But I will show you my stuff that my Christmas haul. Okay, so Christmas haul was pretty fantastic. This was one of my presents. This is DMC Diamant thread, and it's in gold, silver, and copper, as you may see. It's very pretty. I haven't tried it yet. I am very excited to try it, but at the same time I'm a little bit wary because the last time I tried a DMC metallic fiber, I was not impressed. But this stuff, it has like pretty good reviews on 123 and everything, so it'll be interesting to try. I'm planning to use it for Save the Stitches. I will insert a picture so you know what I'm talking about. And I'm going to use this fabric here. 25 count Stormy Clouds Lugana. This is a massive piece. It's a fat half, which is what you need for Save the Stitches. It's a big project. And I'm going to do it in blue. I forgot to bring the floss up, but you use your imagination. So I'm going to use 336, which is like a navy blue for the outlines, and then I'm going to use 4240, which is Midsummer Night. So that's like a variegated dark blue for the filler patterns, or the diaper patterns as they're referred to in the pattern. So that will be fun. I'm going to start that in a few days here, or a week or time, or whatever. Alright, so I got a bunch of patterns from Debbie Patrick. She is closing up shop, so last chance. This is the Carson Mansion. Love that. It's really pretty. I think I've actually been there. I remember stopping in Eureka when we drove up the Pacific Coast Highway from California to Washington State. That was an amazing drive. Okay, so this one, I've actually been to this place too, Cross Villa in Rhinebeck, New York. There's a sheep and wool festival that's held there every fall, and it's, as far as sheep and wool festivals go, it's the best that I've ever been to. So it's just the largest, the nicest time of year. I mean, it's held in the fall when you can actually wear a sweater, so that's nice. And Rhinebeck is a very cute little town with buildings like this one. Well, they're not all like this one, but Teddy Roosevelt's house is also near there. Yeah, anyway, so Crossville, Rhinebeck, New York. And then this one, Chateau Bonhotel in France. I just love that. I think it's really pretty, Chateau. Never been there, maybe one of these days. I've been to France, but not the Loire River Valley, which is where I suspect this one is probably located. That's where most of the chateaus are. Anyway, I think it's very pretty. And then I got this one, Hotel de Coronado Boathouse, San Diego, California. Never been there, never been to San Diego. One of these days. But I thought that was really cool. I love the reflection on the water. That's awesome. And then this one, St. Charles Avenue, New Orleans, Louisiana. I've been to New Orleans. I don't remember seeing this one though. I thought it was really pretty. I love blue. And then, last but not least, the Charles Holbrook Mansion in San Francisco. I've been there, but I don't remember this one either. Well, San Francisco is a big city. I certainly didn't see all of it, so I probably didn't actually see this building. She had other ones in San Francisco that I did remember seeing, but I thought this one was prettier, so I got it. And that was quite a deal. I mean, they were all like around $5, so not bad at all. All right, back to Christmas haul. So I got this Mill Hill Post Office. Love it. I need this for the bottom row of my village. I have the other ones in stash, but I need this one. And then I got this pattern, Jardin Privé, Happy Halloween Night. This one was stitched by Joe, the serendipitous stitcher in the blogosphere, and she stitched it on orange. It looked amazing. I'm probably going to follow her example. I think this is a really cool pattern. And then this one, Holiday Quaker by Lila's Studio. I think this is just beautiful. I love the Santa with the reindeer flying up into the sky, and the all the motifs. She included a separate chart to stitch Merry Christmas, I assume in the place of Happy Holidays, so I'll probably be doing that. And how big is this? It's 13 by 9 on 40 count. Yeah, I'm so not interested in doing that. I actually saw the model for the Halloween Quaker at the Needleworkers Delight store last year, and it was, lovely, of course, but it was tiny, like 9 inches by 13 inches. It's not that big, so I would much rather, there's so much lovely detail on here, you make it too small, you can't really see that detail, so I will be stitching it on, 32 or 28 count or something, and yeah, getting a larger piece. But I think it's really gorgeous, and I'm excited to stitch one of those Lila Studios designs one of these days. And then this one, Lady Justice by Mirabilia, Nora Corbett. I think this is awesome. I'm not crazy about the colors, but that would be a simple matter to convert the dress or whatever. I just think it's really cool, she's blindfolded with the sword and the scales of justice. This is awesome. And I think it's timely. I guess justice is always timely, right? Alright, and then I got some fabric. This is Rhiannon Lugana from Hand Dye by Steph. It's a very pretty, like, purple-y, whatever. I don't know if I'm going to keep this. I wanted the Belfast, not the Lugana. I'm not crazy about stitching 132 Lugana. It's just a little bit too dense, in my opinion. I prefer Belfast at that count. And I also prefer the way Belfast dyes, just in a much more interesting manner, in my opinion. The dye on Lugana, or even weave fabrics, tends to be a lot more subtle and cohesive, whereas you see more like color variation on the Belfast. So I might try to destash this and see if I can get some Rhiannon Belfast instead. And then this fabric is 32 count white opalescent Belfast, and nothing fancy. I just wanted this for a pattern that I may start next year. That's outside the scope of this video though. I got this one from Lisa the Modern Stitcher. She was destashing on Insta. This is an XG design fabric called Christmas Tree. It's on 28 count opalescent linen. Oh, the color is not really coming out. If I hold it closer, that's a little better, I guess. It's just like a really pretty variegated green and white. And it's sparkly, of course. So I think what I want to do with this is stitch a lavender lace pattern on it, Santa of the Forest. I have to do a floss toss and see, but I think this would make a nice sort of foresty kind of background for him. And the fabric has a kind of interesting smell to it. It doesn't smell bad. It's kind of like fabric softener or whatever, but it's very strong. It's less strong now than it was when I got it. I guess because it's just aired out a little bit, but I guess that's something to be mindful of if you're ordering from her. And if you're sensitive to smells, you might need to air the fabric out a little. It's beautiful fabric. I'm very happy with it. Okay, so there was one more little bit of stash I wanted to show you. Sometime, I guess it was before Christmas, my scissor fob just like disintegrated one day. Like it just disintegrated. Anyway, so I ordered a new one on Etsy. This is what it looks like. It's got a little key charm at the end. It's got green like rhinestones and a green flower in the middle. And a lobster tail clasp for the scissors. I got it from a store called Jewelry Fobs, and I could not be more pleased with it. I think it is just really pretty. And it wasn't terribly expensive either. I think it was about $13, $15 or something, so not too bad. And I love it. Very pretty scissor fob. Jewelry fob indeed. Okay. Okay, I think that's about it for my whips and my FOs and my haul. I could talk about my plans, but I think I'm going to save that for the next video because what I want to do is like a 2018 wrap up and 2019 preview. Today being January 2nd, you know, that's timely. So thank you so much for watching. Thank you everybody who leaves a comment. I love chatting with you. I did miss you guys all a lot during my lengthy absence from the Flosstube community, but I just couldn't really film because there was too much going on, and like I said, I wasn't stitching all that much, so I didn't have that much to share. So, but I'm really glad that I filmed today, and I hope to get this video up on YouTube really soon and film that other one I mentioned, the wrap up and preview, presently. All right, take care everyone. Happy New Year, happy stitching, be well, be kind, be happy. Bye.